Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jared Letters and Happy New Year. I have a new scheduling system. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well, but we'll just have to see. I have another video for you, one of the finalists of the Heisman Trophy in 2004, another Savior draft pick, but we'll get into that in this episode of the Life and Times of Matt Leinart. Matthew Stephen Leinart was born in Santa Ana, California on May 11th, 1983. He was born with a condition called strabismus, or crossed eyes. He underwent surgery to correct this at the age of 3 and had to wear special glasses to finish the correction. Leinart had this to say, quote, "I used to get made fun of for being cross-eyed. It's a terrible thing because kids are so cruel. To the fat kid, the kid with glasses, so I turned to sports," unquote. Leinart attended Master D High School, where he lettered in football and basketball. As a junior, Leinart led the Monarchs to a California Interscholastic Federation Division I co-champions and was named the Sarah League's offensive MVP. He wore number 7 in high school as well as the NFL. Leaving high school, Leinart was one of the nation's top recruits and committed to the University of Southern California under head coach Paul Hackett and offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson. However, Hackett and his staff were fired in 2000, and this made Leinart reconsider. He was contemplating Michigan, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, and Oklahoma, but USC hired Pete Carroll, and Leinart recommitted. Leinart redshirted in 2001, not playing this year. In 2002, his freshman season, he was learning from Carson Palmer. He was third string behind senior Carson Palmer and sophomore Matt Castle. He did appear a little bit in 2002, but did not throw a pass. In 2003, Palmer got drafted by the Bengals, so that season Leinart and Castle fought for the starting job. Pete Carroll and his staff selected him to the starting job. He told them, "You will never regret this." Some people thought this pick was to have John Booty learn the system and him take over eventually. Matt's first 3 opponents as a starter were Auburn, BYU, and Hawaii, and beat them all. His first conference opponent was the Cal Bears and lost 31-34 in OT. Even though they lost, they went down swinging. That was their only loss the whole year as they went 7-1 and met my team, the number 4 Michigan Wolverines, in the Rose Bowl and beat them. He ended the season with 255 completions on 402 attempts, 3,556 passing yards, and 38 touchdowns. The 2004 season started with Virginia Tech, BYU again, and Colorado State. They then took down Stanford and the Cal Bears again. They won every game again this season, but the last 2 had to be vacated. So nowadays the NIL is changing the way we view student athletes, but back 11 or 12 years ago, you could not accept gifts from anyone, doesn't matter what it was, because running back Reggie Bush accepted gifts from someone, and because he did, they had to vacate these wins. So according to the NCAA, they actually lost these 2 games, even though they won the national championship. The 2005 season was even worse than the last, even though they went 12-1, losing the NCAA championship at the end. In 2010, they also had to forfeit this season as well due to the whole Reggie Bush thing. Leinart left college with 10,693 passing yards on 807 completions out of 1,245 attempts, with 99 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. After winning the Heisman in 2004, he actually lost to teammate Reggie Bush in 2005. Leinart was projected to be the number 1 overall in the 2005 draft, but lost a lot of stock when he declared for the 2006 draft instead. Mario Williams was taken 1st overall, Bush was taken 2nd by the Saints, and Leinart was taken 10th by the Arizona Cardinals. Leinart, while being a high pick, was backing up Kurt Warner. Leinart made no negotiations hard for the Cards and became the last draft pick to sign that year. The Cardinals and Leinart agreed to a 6-year, $51 million contract on August 14, 2006. The Cards went 1-2 under Warner, so Dennis Green announced Leinart as the starter for Week 4, throwing 2 touchdown passes in his debut. Week 5, the Cards took on the 5-0 Bears, throwing 2 touchdowns to take the lead, but the Bears came back to win 24-23. In Week 12, Leinart set a rookie quarterback passing record, throwing 405 passing yards against the Vikings, but lost in the end. Leinart started 11 games in the 2006-07 season, garnering 2,547 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Dennis Green was fired on January 14, 2007, and Ken Wisenhunt was hired. Leinart started the 07-08 season, going 3-2 before getting hurt during the Rams game. He suffered a left collarbone break. The Cards went 8-8 and did not make the playoffs. Leinart was given the starting job back, but Kurt Warner had a great training camp, and Leinart threw 3 interceptions in the third preseason game against the Raiders. Kurt Warner took his starting position back, and Matt did not play a single game in 2008, and Warner actually took them to a Super Bowl. In 2009, Leinart was still the backup and started 1 game. Warner retired in 2010, but Leinart did not get the starting job back and was released on September 4th, 2010. Leinart started with the Texans for a season to back up Matt Schaub. Schaub played all 16 games, and there was a lot of speculation on Leinart joining former USC coach Pete Carroll in Seattle after he was hired there. He did not do that, resigning with Houston for the 2011 season. Schaub in Week 10 hurt his right foot, and Leinart was a starter. However, 2 weeks later, Leinart also got hurt and eventually got released on March 12, 2012. Leinart signed with the Raiders, backing up former college teammate Carson Palmer. Palmer suffered an injury to Leinart and Terrell Pryor split reps, leaving Pryor to win the starting job, and Leinart was not resigned. The Buffalo Bills were in a hard spot, as E.J. Manuel and Kevin Cobb, who I also did a video on, were both hurt, so they signed Leinart. Leinart and Thad Lewis, who was brought in from a trade, battled for the 4th string spot, but Lewis won out, and Leinart was released on August 30th, 2013. I can't find an official retirement, but he was out of football after the Bills cut him. He eventually transitioned to being an analyst for a Big Noon Kickoff and Amazon Prize football coverage also. I do not think this is Matt's fault at all. I think maybe, and I don't have a lot of proof for this, but I think he should have been drafted to a team that needed a starting quarterback instead of the Cardinals who already had one. It can be hard for starters to be backups. It's hard to kind of get back into that rhythm when you do become a starter again. He could have done better if he joined Pete Carroll in Seattle, and Russ would have joined a different team probably. Seattle probably wouldn't be as big as they were in the 2010s, but hey, I mean, you never really know. That's just my opinion after all. What do you guys think on Matt Leinart? Comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on Thursday.